5 times that people claim to be real life time travelers by Cheryl Eddy. This person has 2 first names. Somebody's last is their last name Eddie?
I always like to think about last names because I think one person's last name was like Child.
Was it?
Yeah, so it's like a long time ago.
They should name themselves either man or boy.
A long time ago, there was just a person. I'm guessing they were a kid. It's like, I want a last name. And it's like, your last name is Child. And everyone pointed and laughed at him. And then he grew up and had kids. And then, he just stuck with the name Child. It's like how Smith is because of blacksmith.
Right. And then Shoemaker.
Yeah.
And there's like, it's not Shoemaker, it's Schumacher.
It's Schumacher.
Yeah, right. They try to put those fancy syllables in there.
What do you think Eddie comes from? Like someone just had a friend Eddie.
I don't know, maybe somebody like the cartoon show Ed and Eddie. And Eddie was their favorite.
Maybe the guy's name was Eddie. He had a kid. And he's like, you're Charles Eddie.
Yeah, maybe.
You're now me.
Anyways, time travel.
The regular guy, time traveler. Time travel as we see it in movies, using DeLoreans, phone booths, hot tubs, and the like.
Obviously, a movie with hot tubs?
Hot tub time machine?
I've never seen that. Oh, you wait. I seen a little bit of that. I remember walking by a TV and seeing where he ended up making Google.
Yeah.
And he called it something else. Moogle something.
Yeah, he owned Google.
He was saying like he crashed his second yacht that month or something like that. That'd be cool. I need to watch that movie. It sounds cool.
It's okay.
DeLoreans, that's obviously from Back to the Future.
And
phone booths, that's Doctor Who, right?
That's right. But throughout history...
He's a Time Lord, though.
He's a time traveler.
Isn't he a Time Lord?
That's like the race.
So he's a race of Time Lord?
Yes.
Okay.
But he travels through time.
Well, you are the expert on Doctor Who.
How dare you? You just assume I'm an expert like that?
That's right.
Putting that pressure on me? It doesn't exist, but throughout history, people have insisted that they somehow managed to do it. Though most of their wild tales were eventually disproven, the stories are still incredible. Here are 5 of the most memorable. That was like a transition. I was trying to like the wavy transition with like the screen like.
Yeah, we don't have much money here on the Folklore School, so we got to make our own effects.
That's right. Gunshot sound. That's how I do it. Number 1. Thank you. Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain. In 1911, Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, who met just prior to working together at an all-female St. Hugh's College in Oxford, and shared an interest in spiritualism, released a book called Sensation, an adventure detailed an experience they'd shared while visiting the Palace of Versailles. Versailles?
Yeah, good enough.
In 1901, while wandering in extensive gardens around the Trianon, it's all French to me, they suddenly began encountering people dressed in 18th century outfits, including...
my God.
Wait, 18th century. Isn't that 19?
Yeah, 18th century.
They are in 18th century, aren't they?
Well, they're at the end, so I'm guessing they're talking about like the beginning of 18th century. But I don't know what the huge difference in clothing would be.
Oh, I know. I guess that would be the 1700s. 18th century, because the first century had zeros attached.
Oh my God.
So that's 1700s, right?
Yeah, if they're 1900.
I always get confused because they say like the 21st century, but it's actually the 2000s, right?
Right.
The 20th century was in like 1900s.
That's correct.
That always confuses me.
So this could be like further
back. This is 17. So that's like
well, it's like the Roman numerals. I never get those.
2,000 years. 1,000 years? 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Including, these are the outfits, a woman who strongly resembled Marie Antoinette. Had they encountered ghosts or slipped back in time somehow?
Slipping.
Though they went with the latter for their book, which purported to prove
the future.
Time keeps on slipping into the future. Their experience by research. Oh, it was to prove their experience.
You just have to have a sad backstory now, and you'd be able to go in the voice.
A sad backstory.
Yeah, all of them like sing like pretty bad, but then they have like a really sad backstory, and they get in.
Who?
It's people on the singing thing. America's Most Talented.
Oh, right.
You ever watch that?
You just need the saddest backstory.
Yeah.
They need good TV.
It's like, my mom was just ran over by a train before we got here, but I knew she wouldn't want me to sing.
When I was a small boy, my family was killed and I was raised by ducks.
That's right.
And I came here, I struggled to learn the written human language by myself while eating crumbs of bread thrown at the pond. And here I am to sing. And everyone sheds tears.
We've totally derailed from the story.
Okay. Well, they want to prove their experience by researching and collaborating with what they've seen with historical records. Skeptics tended to believe a third option, that the authors of the book, written under pseudonyms, their true identities were revealed after their deaths, and had made the whole thing up. Still, their reputations as respected academics did make other people wonder if they had witnessed something way out of the ordinary.
So let's see. They said they had traveled back in time, but then they wrote a book about it under pseudonyms?
Wait,
in
1911, who had just met prior to working together,
and they were at a
college,
they released a book.
Adventure detailing an experience they'd shared while visiting the Palace of Versailles in 1901. So they're saying they shared an experience going 10 years back in time.
Right.
And then they saw people in 18th century outfits, including Marie Antoinette, which is a lot further back than 1901.
Right. Now they're saying in 1901 this happened.
But they met in 1911, 10 years later.
So I guess what they're saying is that they said they first met then, but they actually met before. Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
So anyways, here at number 2, John Titor. This story has its origins with oddball late-night radio host Art Bell, which should be an immediate red flag, and expanded to include internet message boards circa the late 1990s and early 2000s. It was never clear if the man who made contact with Bell via fax was the same as the man who later took to the internet and built a cult following. You can read more about Titor's story in the feature below. But the basics are Titor first popped up in 1998, claiming he was from a parallel timeline where time travel was invented in 2034 by General Electric. In 2001, he explained his mission was to collect a vintage computer from 1975, needing it to debug computers back in 2036.
I don't believe that for
a
second.
His predictions about the future mostly failed to come true, like the Second American Civil War circa 2013, and sleuthing around the Titor phenomenon turned up at least one person, not a time traveler, who seemed to be likely source of the hoax. But no amount of debunking can take away from the weird and amazing details of the story. It's one of the earliest instances of internet folklore, is still one of its most fascinating.
Wow. So, recap this for me. What exactly? Give me the timeline. What just happened?
Okay. So there's this dude who was a late night radio host called Art Bell, and he was talking about this message boards about a guy who apparently traveled back in time using General Electric's time traveling in 2034 to get a computer from 1975 to debug computers of 2036. And then he was talking about all this stuff that's going to happen, like the Second American Civil War, and people were like committing crimes. So number 3.
All right. Number 3. Is that here?
Yeah.
And Andrew J. Basiago.
Mm-hmm.
Our current president can certainly be filed under worst case scenario for many, many reasons. I'm not going to say names. But at least, and he said names, but at least one of Trump's would-be rivals had his own decidedly unusual beliefs. Andrew J. Basiago. Bonkers tale of time travel, as well as teleportation to Mars, caused a stir when it became widely known before the 2016 election.
2016.
Wow. You can read more details in the post below. Let's see. For more than 10 years, he has shared with the American people the true facts of our great nation's accomplishments in time travel and Mars visitation. He has done so as one who served bravely in 2 secret U.S. defense projects, in which time travel on Earth and voyages to Mars were first undertaken as a result of his courageous advocacy, thank you, and a crusading lawyer. Andy is credited with ending the time travel and Mars cover-ups by the U.S. government on behalf of the American people. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone. And there's good news for fans of unabashedly public declarations of facts that sound an awful lot like sci-fi. True to his promise in 2016, in which he predicted he'd become either president or vice president before 28, Blasio is running for POTUS again in 2020. Now...
And the internet's like, I don't even know your name.
Of course, he has all the way till 2028 from 2016 to at least get second place. So, I mean, all he has to do to make that claim is just try, really.
This is why we're trying to do the Area 51 raid, is to get that time traveling and teleportation to Mars technology.
I thought we were just doing it for the alien bait.
Yeah, that too.
Topical.
Both.
Check out this topical thing. And someone's going to find
number
this.
4.
Someone's going to find this a few years later. It's like, wait, what? Area 51, what?
Number 4, Andrew Carlson. It's true that Andrew Carlson may not have actually ever existed, but he dwelled in the imaginations of real people for a brief moment after an article from the reliable, amusing Weekly World News accidentally went mainstream. Snopes.com has a reprint of the original article. Federal investigators have arrested a anemic Wall Street whiz on insider trading charges. Incredibly, he claims to be a time traveler from the year 2256. Sources at the Security and Exchange Commission confirmed that 44-year-old Andrew Carlson offered the bizarre explanation for his uncanny success in the stock market after being led off in handcuffs on January 28th. We don't believe this guy's story. He's either a lunatic or a pathological liar, says the SEC insider. But the fact is, with an initial investment of only $800 in 2 weeks' time, he had a portfolio valued at over $350 million. Every trade he made capitalized on unexpected business developments, which simply can't be pure luck. Though the actual SEC representatives were quick to point out the entire story was a complete and total balderdash. A balderdash. I like that word.
Yeah, it's fancy.
It caught on because it made a certain kind of freaky sense. See, John Titor had a high concept reason for traveling back in time to get a vintage computer, but Carlson, he was just capitalizing on what he knew from the future to play the stock market and get filthy rich. Just like Back to the Future's Biff Tannen and his sports scores. Snopes notes on the Weekly World News published a follow-up month later, reporting Carlson had jumped bail, never to be seen again, either in the paper or in reality. How do we know he didn't go back in time?
Or forward in time.
You know, he could have just, like, made all that money. You know, what he probably did was what any of us would do if we had a time travel. So you just go back in time, you invest in, like, you know, Microsoft or Apple or whatever, and then go back to the future, and there you go, boom, you're a billionaire.
Saving.
You're a billionaire now.
Strangely enough, I think what happened is he was in jail, and the time cops came for him. He was like, "What are you doing, Carl?" He's like, nothing. And then they took him away.
Or maybe he had, like, a watch or something that, you know, they don't take off of you when you go in. He just had, like, a watch, and then it probably counted down to a certain time. He's like, all right, and then it teleported him back to the future.
They didn't take his watch?
Maybe he just had, like, I don't know, an implant or something.
Oh, you know what? He's a high-collar criminal, so he got, like, a nice cell.
Yeah.
Where he got all his stuff.
That's right.
He's got a nice laptop computer.
I guess he was arrested in Sweden.
Oh, shoot. I mean,
here, their jails are like hotels.
Are they?
Yeah. Pretty swanky. And the last one.
Noah. I've never even met her. But all right.
And we're done. We're shutting down.
You're fired.
Get out of here.
Late last year, several British tabloids gleefully reported on Noah, a man who claimed to be from the future.
Oh my God, we haven't heard that before.
That's a fresh topic right here. Having arrived in our time using technology that was invented in 2003.
Probably a Nokia phone.
Dang. But not declassified until 2028. A YouTube video on the Paranoid Elite channel, where you can view a variety of other time travel videos. Oh, there you go, sponsor. Though Noah's is the most popular by far, in brackets, as well as an exposés on mermaids, aliens, and other mysterious unknown was Noah's chosen platform. His revelations were mostly pretty boring. The return of a better Google Glass, self-driving cars are totally a thing. Trump will be re-elected, but there's something decidedly unsettling about his blurred out performance.
And that's about it. And you know what? We so happen to have an expert on all this, and maybe he can come in and shine a little bit of light. Expert on the old time traveling, and we like to call him time traveling Tom.
Time traveling Tom. Hold on. Can you pass me your phone here? I gotta make a call. Yeah, Tom? Yeah, it's like 7 o'clock. Yeah. All right. Just give it a minute. Oh, there it is. Look.
He made
out of space and time.
Did you tell him that we were gonna be on top of this roof of Site 17?
I gave him the time and place, and there he is.
Wow. There's a portal
traveler.
opening up here. Oh my God! You always like to show up in the weirdest spots.
Greetings there, John and Goose. I'm my two favourite known time travellers sticking around in the present day. At least it's your present day. You see, I come from the year 2089. Yeah? You following me?
It's too bad it's not 2069. You got me?
That's actually really offensive. The Third World War happened that year, alright?
I'm so sorry. I didn't even know. But now I know. And now
I'm just messing with you. Nah, mate. Yeah, it's all good. But,
I mean, he could be just trying to keep the timeline, straight. It could actually happen then. Start stocking your water, folks. I guess we're going to start turning into the Alex Jones show here.
You never know what's going to happen. You know, when you're traveling through time, like I do. On exciting adventures, fighting giant crabs and hunting down rogue time travelers.
Oh, you got some rogue time travelers? I think we're just discussing a few here.
Yeah, we're just talking about, what is it, John Titor. John Titor doesn't exist. He's not real. But let me tell you here, he's real. Senor Pablo Chester. Now, Chester, he's going back to 1981.
Nice.
And what Chester did is he tried to steal the Queen of England's shoes.
Shoes? And didn't even go for the jewels? He must have had a foot fetish.
Are you a time traveler?
No, I'm just guessing.
Well, you're right. He did have a massive foot fetish.
Should have known.
Now, we don't like to kink shame in the future, but he is very weird.
Why didn't he go back to a time when she was young? I mean, she's still pretty old at that point.
No, the other Queen of England.
Oh, okay.
Wait, you know...
There's only one in this timeline. You saying there's a second one?
Now, don't get me wrong. There was another Queen of England, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, I may have erased her from the timeline, accidentally.
As we all do.
She was a young and spry lass.
Right.
Like to fly aeroplanes in loop-de-loops, right? Crash it right into her younger self.
Oh.
Yeah, awkward, right? Yeah. A paradox kind of happened, but we straightened it out. We kind of just snipped that bit of the timeline out. Only I really remember it.
Sounds like editing, but way harder.
No, actually, it's really easy.
You just you make sure that their parents are wearing some safety stuff.
Exactly, mate.
Just keep it safe.
Keeping it safe, keeping it real. Tom, what other kinds of space time-traveling criminals do you stop? Oh, you know, just like Rex. He was like a time-traveling velociraptor made in old Germany with robotic parts implanted inside him.
Amazing. He
traveled to the future to...
Sounds like the old Jurassic Park movie. Premise that we're gonna go with.
Funny you should mention that. He was on set in about an hour and 2 minutes in.
So he actually did some acting.
Nah, he was like a cameo. Like you see him in the back.
Oh, nice.
And in that scene where it goes in like these giant dinosaurs, they're all CGI, right? But he's like in the back in the bushes. You can kind of see his tail.
Oh, nice.
Funny coincidence. But we had to put him down, obviously.
All right, yeah.
We just chopped his legs off and laughed at him for a bit.
They grow back.
Keep in mind, he was extremely evil, and he killed people because of their height. 4 feet or lower, he'd just go for them.
Everybody knows the velociraptors are height haters.
They have, honestly, they're made of hate. You know how a wasp is like filled with hate.
Oh yeah.
A velociraptor is like 7 times that.
But you're saying this velociraptor also had weapons?
Yeah, robotic parts and enhanced intelligence.
You know what? That's probably where the weapons of mass destruction was. It was this velociraptor, and y'all got rid of it. That's why they couldn't find any evidence.
Sure, I guess. I mean, listen, time travel doesn't tell you all the answers. All right, sometimes you think you know who somebody is, and then you realize that they're your child from, like, in the future coming back to the past, and, like, you meet each other, and, like, you get kind of romantic, but then you realize that your child from the future, and then you gotta, like, backtrack. It's like, nah, I just think of you platonically.
It sounds like it could get pretty complicated,
it can get pretty crazy. Do you know my grandfather is actually me? I'm my own grandfather.
It sounds like you're Fry from Futurama.
I've never seen that show, sorry.
Well, it's basically the same premise.
What a coincidence. I should probably sue him for taking my likeness. Then again, that was a real secret I told you in confidence. I hope you don't tell anybody.
We're definitely not recording a show here.
That's what I thought. I mean, honestly, I'd have to probably erase your babies, as in when you were a baby. I'd have to go back, throw you to a bunch of crocodiles.
Instead of doing that, can you go back and tell me to invest in Bitcoin when it's like, only a few cents? That'd be great.
I did, and you said to shove off.
Shove off, eh?
You tell me to piss off. Tell me to go.
Well, I guess, seeing a stranger just like show up at your door is like, hey, that Bitcoin's coming out, you need to buy some of that.
You know what? You pulled a shotgun on me. You told me to get off your property. Is that any way to treat your old pal Tom? Or should I say your old pal from the future? So I'm not really old pal yet, but you'll meet me later as well.
All right.
Time travel's confusing.
Well, that's too bad. Because if we invested in Bitcoin, we could have a little bit better production here. Also, sponsored by Bitcoin.
Who are you talking to?
I got an imaginary friend. His name is SoundCloud listeners.
Listen, man, you don't gotta worry about investing and all that. All right, like your fate's pretty much sealed next year. So.
Oh, that makes life so much sweeter.
Exactly.
Don't even have to worry about that.
Enjoy the time you have left. That's all I gotta say. I gotta go back now to the future, where everyone has their own hot tub in their shoes.
Oh.
And robots.
That sounds so nice.
People can just buy robots now.
Do they have robot rights?
That's a good one, mate. That's a good one. Robot rights. What is this? 3,200. Nah, mate. All right, I'll check you later.
Holla, holla.
Bye, Tom. Wow.
It's always nice seeing Tom there.
I am so sorry for your loss.
What did I lose? Oh, Bitcoin? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but the Bitcoin thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, I'm more upset about that than next year. That's fine. I can't believe I told him to shove off when I had a shotgun. Unless that must have been my neighbor. Probably got us confused. Oh, well. It is what it is. So what would you say that would be your favorite time travel out of this bunch? I have to say, the time traveling velociraptor that Tom brought up, that is probably my favorite.
I mean, you wouldn't want to meet him, but could be pretty good. Could be fun. I think probably the last guy.
Oh yeah, Noah.
Was it the last one? Yeah, Noah. Was he the one who invested?
No, that was number 2. I want to say.
Okay, not him, not Noah. Screw Noah.
Andrew, I think. Yeah, it was Andrew.
Is it Andrew?
Number 2 is the one who was like going back in time for the computers.
Yeah, the one who just invested got $350 million out of $800. Probably my favorite use of time travel.
Number 4. Sorry.
Andrew Clarkson.
Yeah.
Sure, that's the one.
That's the one. Yeah, he invested $800, but that almost sounds like the movie Limitless, where he gets the drug that they're like, you can use 100% of your brain now.
You know what? That wasn't really limitless. I just thought this recently that he wasn't really limitless, but that one movie about Scarlett Johansson and she gets so smart that she becomes God and like separates the universe.
What? I need to see that one. What's that one called?
What is that one called?
I gotta look this up. I could probably find it later. But anyways, what do you think we should do for next episode?
Okay, let's.
Goose.
I heard there was some cave drawings about old Aztecs with Triceratops. Now, I don't know if we can find anything on that, but if we do, that'd be interesting.
The cavemans.
And
the cave gals.
We can look for the newest color. the new color that we haven't found yet?
I mean, apparently there's like a shrimp in the sea that could see over 1,000 colors.
Yeah.
We can only see like, what is it, like like a small spectrum compared to that.
Go watch True Facts About a Mantis Shrimp. If you haven't.
Anyways, we're just now getting over to bitshoot.com, and we got all you viewers over there. So much thank you for all the so much thanks, I should say, for all the support. Thank you so much. Rate, subscribe.
So much support. I feel so supported.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram.
My back's never felt this good being so supported.
That's right. And thank y'all again. And we'll see you again next time on the next episode of Folklore Scrolls. Holla at you later.
Trademark patent pending. Bye.